And we're live. We're live, man. We're ready to go. Let's open the gates. Let the millions of people join in.
Yo, listen. Before we
Wow, you're
start,
so
before we
loud.
start,
Wow, you're very loud.
am I in your mic or on the,
I don't even know what's going on, man.
Yo, listen. Before we start, I just need to borrow. I need to borrow $2.50.
I never got that. I actually don't get it. If you need
Just
money, why is it always like
before we start the live stream?
We're live.
Before we go live, what?
We're live, buddy.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me we're live right now?
We're live 100%.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another
Holy.
episode of aMillionortheMoon.
Welcome, people.
Yeah, how's everyone doing? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you? It's Monday, man. Things are moving up. Bitcoin's at $34,421.76. Never mind, it's 50 cents. It's actually 25 cents. And Ethereum's above 2K. I don't know about you, man, but it's a good day.
I think so. I think there's plenty interesting stuff to discuss. I think there's some interesting news, some interesting on-chain metrics, and some very, very interesting potential macro bullish divergence that we're seeing. So, yeah, man, plenty to discuss. What are you feeling right now? We're right up against resistance. We're pulling back a little. Is it time to FOMO buy, panic sell?
I just want to remind people, there's 17 people right now in the chat. I just want to remind you, this is your daily reminder to go grab a cup of water. Go grab some water and hydrate yourself, because that's more important than Bitcoin going up. That's more important than Ethereum going up.
That's sacrilege.
That's what?
That's sacrilege.
What does that mean?
It means it's like unholy, like it's blasphemous. What you're saying?
To tell people to go drink water.
Yeah, and be healthy. And you're
but
saying
it's okay to tell them go and use my bybit link and leverage X100.
See, now you're getting a sense of it, and now you're catching on.
Yeah, okay. So that's what it is, guys. It's a good day, I guess. So far, so good. After, I guess, everyone was expecting some sort of a bloody weekend for Bitcoin. It didn't turn out to be so bloody after all. I'm looking at the 1 hour now, because we're trying to see on lower time frames what's going on, how our buyers reacting to this. But if we're looking at the daily, man, yesterday and the day before was pretty good. I don't know, in my opinion, this was a pretty good movement. We got to the same price level, June 22nd. We had a hammer candle. Again, went up, came back down again. This time, we did not go as low. It was still some sort of a hammer candle. It's still showing that sells went down, not as bad, not as all the way down before. On June 22nd, the same price level, same exact price level. You see here, June 25th. You'll see how when we dropped exactly at the opening price here, which was exactly the closing price here. So this right here, this exact level, the 31,583 candle closing on it. Next time, buyers came in after they pushed, went up all the way down, again came back down exactly to it, pushed back above. Now we're above here. So I see that the buyers actually were a bit more confident. We're talking about it here. Are the buyers, is there enough buyers to, at least, is the selling pressure subsiding? Is it going lower? Are we losing that? Are buyers accumulating more? What's your opinion here, man?
Well, in terms of buyers accumulating here, like, let's definitely stay on the chart for sure, because there's lots to discuss. But maybe just real quick here, I do believe there is some very interesting kind of on-chain metrics to discuss, which I currently cannot find right here. This right here. So right here, we're looking at a chart by Glassnode. And so Glassnode is showing us what long-term holders of Bitcoin and short-term holders of Bitcoin are doing. So Glasso, to my understanding, considers long-term holders to be people who've been holding Bitcoin 155 days or more. And so if we kind of look at what long-term holders are doing, they're currently beginning to accumulate. And if we look at what short-term holders are doing, they're currently selling off. So Bitcoin is moving from weekends, retail short-term holders to more long-term holders. And
Hmm.
so we're seeing long-term holders start to buy the dip and accumulate Bitcoin.
Wow. Wow. Where's the so I see. So the red line is these short, not short term. I mean, like I guess like newer newbies into the market. Is that what we're saying
Yeah.
here?
So wallets have held Bitcoin for less than 155 days.
Wow. Okay. And those long time holders are just accumulating more. So I guess yeah, that's the distribution we're talking about. I guess
Yeah.
it just dropped. People that came in the beginning of the year where everything was going up, and now they're selling because they're obviously selling at a loss. However, people that have been in it for a while and they held along the way, now it's going back. And most we don't have the metrics, so I don't want to say anything wrong. But last time we were looking at the spent output profit ratio, it was more for new people that came in the beginning of the year that they're actually in the negative, right? But long-term holders are still chilling, right? So to them, this is just like another buy the dip opportunity, and we're seeing that on the charts. This is not something out of nowhere. It's not out of thin air. Brendan here went to the edge of the crypto space and really got in some good news for us, man.
I did indeed. And I see a very interesting comment here. Bright Knight 88 saying, I haven't felt like things are that bearish at all for the last week or so. And to be honest, man, same here. Like the bears have continually tried to take over and drive the price of Bitcoin down and break through support. But we keep getting buyers coming in this low $30,000 region. It keeps happening over and over again. And we even made a lower low and it got bought back up extremely quickly. And we had a weekly candle close above support at 34,500. So, I mean, the Bears have been putting in a pretty kind of lackluster effort here, man. It's actually surprising
Yep,
considering all the FUD and negative news story coming out with Bitcoin, how well we've been holding up. It's like, it's one way to look at it. It's surprising how well we're holding up. And we
100%.
are, man. Buyers keep coming in at this low $30,000 region. The Bears keep trying to drive it down and they can't seem to do it. Now we're right up against resistance with that $35,000 region. But what do you think here, man? Do you think we're going to break through? Do you think we're going to correct, reject off it? Do you have any inkling? Anything
So,
you want to share
like
with
I would say, in my opinion, again, with buyers or just the market itself, kind of ignoring a bunch of bullish signs, for the past month and a bit now. We're coming to the end of the month now. We're on the 28th of June. We have a couple more days to go for the monthly candle to close, and overall, man. Let's just maybe take a look at the weekly here. So let's just see what the weekly is actually telling us. If we're looking here, maybe I'll just take off those lines. And guys, there's what do we have here? 35 people, 31 people in the chats. If you can do us the favor and make sure you like the video, so it helps with the engagement and helps with the Facebook putting it out there a lot more. That would be
Facebook?
great. Did I say Facebook?
Said Facebook.
YouTube, YouTube,
YouTube.
YouTube,
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, so
One
make
day
sure you
Facebook.
smash that like button, and yeah, one day hopefully Facebook, man.
Yeah.
But we're looking here at the weekly, and a couple things we can actually see right off the bat. Weekly candle closed yesterday, and this is holding pretty well, man. This is
Okay.
not holding that bad. We're not at this level over here where we're just completely zoomed in. This is a performance where it's telling you, look, we found some. This is how a bottom looks like. However, now with all the bullish signals that the market has been kind of ignoring because of all the selling and all the news and all that stuff. Looks so this is the 55 EMA on the weekly chart, and this is how a bottom looks like right now. For the longest time, we had a good week, I guess, on the beginning of June. So okay, that's good. But it's been in the negative. We've been, I guess, losing that buying momentum ever since. So we peaked. Let's say here, where do we have it here? If I go up a bit. Yeah, we peaked somewhere on mid-February here in terms of buying momentum, and we've been going down ever since that momentum. We had a crossover here, took a couple of weeks for it to actually bounce back above, got rejected again, and two very bad weeks for Bitcoin, leading us here. So now for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, we've been flattening out in terms of the MACD, right? We've been having those slower highs on the RSI. The RSI right now is currently at the 45. So it's been, it's been going down. We saw that it's being, so if even we're looking from now back to 2017, these are the levels that you typically start looking for some sort of reversal to come up. It's not a radical idea to think so. If we're looking back here, we're having this downtrend. So let's just maybe take this stochastic RSI off just the RSI itself, man, right? Downtrend hits the bottom, then we move up. Downtrend hits the bottom, then we move up. Now we're downtrending and we're at those lower levels. So what's gonna happen? Price action looks like it's pretty much finding some sort of a floor, wicks to the bottom. That's the weekly performance. MACD starting to flatten out and slowly ticking back up. I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think here? It's not something. It's not too radical to assume that this is how a bottom looks like, in my opinion.
I think we're seeing signs of bullish divergence, and I don't think the market's woken up to actually what's happening yet. I think, again, I could be wrong. I may very well end up being wrong, but I think this is starting to look like a bottom to me. Maybe I'm not ready to call it quite just yet. We are still very bearish, but we're starting to see some signs that a reversal could happen.
Right.
Because look, man, just how when we were getting higher highs in price action, but lower highs in RSI, that led to the crash, that led to the correction, because we were seeing bearish divergence over here. Higher highs in price action, lower highs in RSI, bearish divergence, we had a crash. But now we're seeing the exact inverse. We're seeing bearish price action. We're seeing lower highs, lower lows, paired with higher highs and higher lows on the daily RSI. Dude,
Right.
it's poetic. Just like the bearish divergence when we were having an uptrend led to a correction. Now we're having a downtrend and seeing bullish divergence. So look, man, that's not just the end all be all. We're having a bullish crossover on the daily MACD for Bitcoin. It's extremely significant. And if we go back to the weekly, again, weekly candle closing bullishly above support. And also, dude, again, coming back to the weekly here, weighted MACD, a leading indicator for the regular MACD, bullish crossover in the extreme oversold territory. Very, very significant. Not only that, weekly stochastic RSI, great for calling shifts in trends, is extremely oversold, has a bullish crossover, and is making moves to the upside. Now, I know this is a very, very busy chart on my end here, but I've highlighted every single time the stochastic RSI has had a bullish crossover in the oversold region on the weekly for Bitcoin. That's what each of these vertical blue lines are. And if you look at the last times this has happened, look at the last time over here back in September. Look at what led afterwards. Over here, this was the near the bottom of the 2020 March crash. Look what happened afterwards. Over here, look what happened afterwards. And over here, we didn't immediately have an uptrend. This was kind of a messy region for the stochastic RSI, where sometimes we have that bullish crossover, but we mess around in the bottom regions for a little bit. But whenever we've had a clean bullish crossover in stochastic RSI in the oversold region, it's consistently led to an uptrend afterwards. I mean, over here,
Even if it's a short term, even if it's some sort of like a local bottom, you're saying?
it coincides with a local bottom, because this again is an indicator that's great for calling shifts and trends on a very macro time frame. So, this isn't the end all be all. I'm not saying the bull run is going to immediately continue, but I do think it could signal a local bottom, because if we look at every time it's happened, there's almost always been a bit of a relief rally, a bit of a pump after it happens. So we've had it one happen pretty recently here. We're in the oversold territory, and we're beginning to see those moves to the upside. So weekly is looking, we're seeing bullish divergence. Weighted MACD bullish crossover oversold. Stochastic RSI bullish crossover oversold. Going back to the daily, we see that continuation. And then if we look at the price action, every time the bears try and come in and take over, it gets immediately bought up. And yes, we're putting in lower highs and lower lows, which is bearish. And so what we need to be confident of that divergence we're seeing on the higher time frames is more confirmation, bullish continuation. We got to start making higher highs. We got to start making higher lows. And in that case, we can start to be a little bit more confident that this bullish divergence on the higher time frames could play out.
Yeah, 100%. And even, man, you actually brought up a very good point as well. Specifically, and I know you got even probably more to say about the RSI itself. Now, overall, if we're looking here back on my screen, we're also seeing, so those indicators are oversold. I think that's pretty much easily established. I don't
Yeah.
think it's too much to assume that we're really back below in the negative. Buying pressure to the upside got annihilated. We had that crossover in the weekly. We've been, if we zoom in here again, guys, you'll see how it just started slowly down ticking, then boom, creates a big distance between every week. And again, large distance. And now that distance started to kind of become so that the change in terms of that selling momentum started to decrease and decrease every week that passes by. We had those two, I would say those 3 weeks. So this week here, this week here, this week here, this week here. The distance between each one of them is great. Now the MACD was moving some sort of, very rapid to the bottom. And now we're reaching an area the past 3-4 weeks where we're going sideways for a bit. And now we're slowly starting to see a bit of a movement to the upside. Now then again, does that mean we're going to 100% find the bottom? No. Again,
No.
if we're looking at the RSI here right now, man, if we're looking through here, when I look at it, overall, let's say even if we're looking back from 2017 too, right? We start the downtrend steeply, and then the RSI went sideways for a bit, closer to the 40 region, continued to go sideways for a bit, then dropped below that. As soon as it dropped below that, boom, we actually went above. Again, next time, a bit more, I guess, strength in it, went all the way back down exactly to that level. The first time I met that floor that we had here, this is more of an established floor than this one. This is more of a breakout from a floor, in my opinion. And then we come back to it and then push back above. Even we're looking at the price action again. Maybe I'll just zoom in here to the top. You'll see here that as soon as we got to this level over here, where this floor was at, we actually had a bit of a movement for Bitcoin, and again pushed back up. Not the time for it, I guess. Buyers were not ready, and then we went down again. As soon as we went back below it, boom, that just continued to rise after. Right now, we are not in a scared place. This was the scared place, man.
Yeah.
When we're looking at Bitcoin and we're looking at, we moved already from the bottom here all the way to the top, 1,226% movement on Bitcoin's price action, and then you're looking at all the way now here. I'm all the way at the 65%. This is literally everyone's talking about Bitcoin. It's in the news and every single news outlet. We're looking here. We're looking that the MACD is extremely in the over, all the way at the top. RSI starting to have those lower highs. This was a scared place. This right here is a buy opportunity. This is a buying opportunity. Even if it falls lower towards the 25K to this EMA over here, it's a buy opportunity even here on this side if you're DCAing dollar cost averaging. Again, not a financial advice. We're not financial advisors, but we're just sharing our thoughts. And man, we're at that level exactly again. With the RSI, we're at that floor where we're typically bouncing, where we bounced back in 2019. Now we're at it. MACD is extremely in the bottom, and price action, it's hyped. There's a lot of buzz in the market. Everyone's looking at crypto. I don't know, man. This is something that I can I don't want to say confidently, but this was the scary place. This is the nice place if you want to buy into the market, right?
Yeah, this feels less scary, to be honest. Like
100%.
we could go down further, but we already corrected what 50-60% of all-time highs. The worst of what's possible already happened.
Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario, we correct what 90, 95, 80% from all-time highs. I mean, regardless, the worst of what could happen already happened.
It
And
is.
look, man, we're extremely overextended to the downside without a significant relief rally. Our indicators are extremely oversold on the higher time frame, seeing bullish divergence. So all we need at this point is a little bit more bullish confirmation. We got to get some higher highs, some higher lows. We got to start flipping some of these major resistance levels into support. If we can get one or two or three major layers of resistance flipped into support and get some higher highs and higher lows with Bitcoin, man, this looks like a bottom to me. Again, overextended to the downside without a significant relief rally. All our higher time frame indicators are extremely oversold, seeing bullish divergence. So what do we need to get more clarity? Confirmation. Because yeah, we're seeing a bit of bullish divergence, but we haven't had confirmation. We're still up against resistance. We still haven't broken out bullishly. We could get rejected tomorrow and fall below 30K. It's definitely possible. So at this point, we need bullish confirmation. We need to start flipping resistance to support, higher highs, higher lows. Now, with that being said, man, I do want to mention, and this has been on my mind, and I know I've been talking to you about this before the live stream, the daily RSI.
Yeah.
This is going to be the factor to time, not just know when Bitcoin's done dumping, but to be able to time when Bitcoin's going to pump. And look, I've been talking about this for months and months and months. I've been ringing the alarm bell on the daily RSI, and I'm now just starting to see other big crypto YouTubers start to talk about it when, I've been mentioning this for
They're
months,
stealing your
but
ideas, man.
I'm just saying, folks, you got to like and subscribe because we've been bringing you it's the most critical information that you need to look out for timing when Bitcoin's
No,
gonna
tell them,
recover.
guys, smash that like button. Let's
You
just
got
do
to
it right
smash that
now.
like button
Let's just do it
because,
right now.
folks, I saw Carl from the Moon mention this today, and again, folks, I've been talking about this for months. Great for him. I'm glad he's finally woken up and
Sorry,
realized
who's that? Who's that?
Carl from the Moon.
Who's that?
He's just a big crypto YouTuber.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, the guy who shills Bible links a lot.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, listen, because this is extremely significant. It's also extremely significant because of how simple it is, and it's really beautiful when simple things really really work. Look at this: higher highs in price action paired with lower highs in RSI. Classic bearish divergence. So that bearish divergence led to the downtrend. So just how that bearish divergence led to the downtrend, now we're experiencing the exact opposite, where we're seeing lower highs and lower lows, but higher highs and higher lows in RSI, which is bullish divergence. So we have been, and guys, I know a lot of people. I've been talking about this RSI. I'm just being a little bit silly, but look, we've respected this resistance line on the RSI, on the daily RSI, the entire parabolic, or at least the tail end of our parabolic cycle here. It's constantly acted as resistance. So once we start to see bullish divergence from this resistance line, if we do something like this, once we break up bullishly from this trend line, that is when I think Bitcoin is truly, truly ready to take off. Because again, we respected this resistance level all throughout this cycle's uptrend. And so the second we see bullish divergence, that's going to be something extremely new and extremely significant that could be the thing that helps us pump. I don't know what you think there.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. You've been definitely talking about it, and it's definitely true. And I think overall, again, confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. Now I'm sounding like you now more and more.
Because it's true, man. It's true. Like,
100%, it is true. We need more confirmation, guys, because with everything we're talking about here, we can still easily get back down to this
yeah.
EMA, right? We can easily get back to the 25,000, which is not a problem. But we're seeing, guys, we're seeing that every time we dip below, not every time, but we're reaching those levels here where we're just refusing to close below the 34,000. And, just when futures closed and everyone's talking about a bloody weekend, we still performed well, in my opinion. And again, this week is when we actually dipped to the 28,000. And if we're looking at the daily again, just to zoom in even more on the price action here, we're seeing that every time you'll see here that this level, this exact price level right now is where we're finding that resistance. This initially where we didn't want to close here at this level. There's the 34,600. A lot of accumulation is happening at this moment. There's a lot of accumulation or redistribution. We just saw Brendan just shared the screen with how we have long-term holders, and I see there's a bunch of people that just joined in, man. So maybe we'll talk about that even again. Maybe I'll just switch to your screen because you have it open. So this is what we're seeing, guys. Overall, in the green line there, you're seeing how it's dipping back up. These are long-term holders for Bitcoin now accumulating, while the newbies that came in the beginning of the year, which most likely entered at those higher prices, Bitcoin above the 50, 60, above the 40,000, 50,000, closer to the 64,000. These guys, this is the red line on the bottom showing you what they're doing, and it's they're selling obviously at some sort of a loss. So we're seeing that redistribution between long-term holders that are actually comfortable at this level. We are comfortable buying at this level even if it dips below 100%. We're already 60% down on everything, and other altcoins were already even lower than that. So in my opinion, looking at the technicals, looking at those indicators, on the daily, we're actually all the way in the bottom on the RSI right now. On the weekly as well, we're also all the way in the bottom. The scary spot was the top, which we were talking about it for a while. And now we're at the bottom here, knowing that what Bitcoin can do at least in terms of 65,000. We're seeing that bullish divergence. You're seeing those bigger guys, long-term holders, reaccumulating because they didn't get in recently. They're not selling at a loss. They got in way back. They got it way back. They got it when Bitcoin was still 10K, 15K, 20K. This is why they can easily, and most retail investors, where are they going? To YouTube. or whatever, just to get some sort of advice, right? And again, whatever it tells you, whatever there's fun in the news, and everyone wants, everyone's clickbaity, I guess. People sell and sell pretty quick, specifically when it's something that they do not fully understand of. So that's what we're happening right now, man.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable buying here, even if Bitcoin dips below the 30K, because I've been seeing how these bigger guys are reacting to it and how they're right away jumping on that train to buy more. So that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, man, just to really kind of hammer home the point here, folks, we're seeing bullish divergence on the daily RSI. The weekly indicators are looking very bullish as well. Weighted MACD on the weekly for Bitcoin, bullish crossover. Stochastic RSI extremely oversold, bullish crossover. Regular MACD starting to tick back up here. The histogram's moving up here. So to me, this is really smelling and looking like a bottom. We're extremely overextended on the downside, sitting on support, refusing to break down, extremely oversold, seeing bullish divergence. I would be ready to call a bottom if we're not for a lack of bullish confirmation. Folks, we need bullish confirmation because I see a very good comment here in the comment section. Eric Bailey is saying on takes, all it takes is one tweet or some FUD to send the market back down. And that's a very, very good point. If Elon Musk decides to have a bad day and starts, shitting on Bitcoin on Twitter, we could it's entirely possible that we could have a substantial move to the downside. And given how precarious we are, we could fall below 30,000, go to 24,000, 20,000 again. So we're not out of the woodworks yet, guys. Like, I want to make it very clear. Yeah, sure, things are starting to look a bit more positive on the higher time frames. But what do we need to get a greater clarity of the state of the market? Confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. We are still right up against resistance and we are still not broken out yet. One of our original kind of wedge lines, trend lines here, we're still getting rejected exactly off it. We still haven't put in higher highs. We're putting in lower lows, but we haven't put in higher highs. We got to start flipping several layers of resistance into support and do that 2 times, do that 3 times, do that 5 times. And only in that case can we start to be more confident of the recovery continuing, because so far, all we've been getting is confirmation of the downtrend. Constant lower highs, lower lows, breaking below support, extremely bad news bears. So yeah, we're seeing some signs that this could be the bottom, some signs that a recovery could continue. But if we want to be confident of the recovery, we actually need to see further evidence of the recovery. We actually need to put in higher highs, higher lows, flip resistance into support. And only in that case, every resistance layer that we break above, retest, and hold that support, that can make us a little bit more confident of the recovery, but we need to see it. We need to get above the VVR put in control at 37,000. We need to get above the 50-day SMA, 200-day EMA, 200-day SMA. There's several layers of significant resistance above us, and only once we start to break above these things and retest them bullishly and hold them as support and get daily candles closing above these large time frame moving averages, only in that case can we start to be a little bit more confident about Bitcoin, start putting some higher highs, get above 40,000, get above 41,000. In that case, we would have bullish confirmation. And in that case, we could be a little bit more confident that the recovery could continue, given that we would be breaking the bearish price structure and getting bullish confirmation once we do the things I just mentioned.
100%. It's all about the things that Brendan just mentioned, guys. The whole market depends on what Brendan thinks about the chart at the moment.
Am I wrong? Tell
No,
me I'm wrong.
you're not at
Explain
all.
to me how I'm wrong.
I did not say you're wrong, brother, man. I did not say you're wrong. One thing I want to bring to, so guys, we're gonna get into some news as well. Think very important things that you need to know about. Bitcoin mining outflows plunging to 5 years. Bitcoin may gain long-term boost from current Chinese crypto ban. Guggenheim Scott, which is the founder of a very
Wait,
big
wait. How did you say
Guggenheim.
that?
Guggenheim, is that what it is?
Go. It
Goga?
actually is. It's not that
Gogan?
bad yet. Guggenheim, yeah.
The Goga, where's the O? Explain to me
Guggenheim.
the O.
I don't know, man. It's
All
just
right.
pronounced. That's how I've heard
So our
it.
boy Scott Minard, whatever, stands by 600,000 Bitcoin prediction, but there's a big catch, which we'll also get into it. What do we have here? Asset managers suddenly becoming Bitcoin bulls at the CME, a bunch of stuff with Ethereum and all that. So make sure you smash that like button. There's 120 people right now. But overall, man, um, in my opinion, right, we had a long enough of a time now to understand where the resistance and the support is. We had a month of price action since May 18th, a month and a bit actually, and overall, we see, in my opinion, now pretty well established a resistance and a pretty well established support, and looks like it could be some sort of a falling wedge, which is actually a reversal pattern. If you go on Google, you search it up, this is what a falling wedge is. Falling wedge comes in after a downtrend. It's expected to be a reversal pattern, specifically when we find divergence, which Brendan was just mentioning right now. A divergence in the RSI. Technicals should be in the bottom region, in the oversold region, and yeah. You'll see that everywhere here. There's a bunch. I mean, you can just Google it and you'll see what I'm talking about here. But again, overall, we're seeing that happen right now, and we just need some sort of a breakout to confirm all of that. So we need that confirmation to come in. We need to see that volume starting to jump in on the daily, on the 4 hour, 6 hour, 10 hour, something to show us that there's actually indeed a lot of interest in the market right now. But we'll see how that plays out, man. But if we're done with the technicals here, I don't know if you got something else to talk about. We can talk about the news or whatever you got going on there.
Well, I got some more stuff here on my end, but
Go ahead.
one of the last things I'll say, for with Bitcoin for now is we have a monthly closing in 2 days and 9 hours, and so I think it's pretty clear that we would want Bitcoin to hold above $33,000. You can see that how there's two monthly candles reacting off that region. So if in 2 days and 9 hours we have a monthly candle close above that region, that's a good sign. If we start to break below $33,000, that's quite worrisome. Very significant range. Even if we go back to the weekly, weekly over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I mean 5, 6, 7 weeks of reactivity off 33,000. Clear inflection point, clearly price reactive level. So I think over the next 2 days, we pretty much got a hold above 33,000. If we start to break below 33,000, that's quite worrisome for Bitcoin.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. I guess that's pretty much it for the technicals. Maybe we'll move into some news stories here.
Again, I got a lot more technicals to talk about, but we can talk about these news stories.
Oh, okay. So we can finish off if you want. Like,
No, but these news stories are important. If you want, we can come back to that after.
Yeah, okay, sure.
It's important. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Let's do that. So overall here, man, I got Bitcoin mining miner outflows plunged to 5-year low. Glassnode report we're seeing here, according to the data provided by Glassnode analytics vendor, Bitcoin miners are hardly selling any Bitcoin at the moment. They were at one point, but let's just see if it's gonna happen. We know what's happening in China with the crackdown, and we discussed it previously. This past week or so, I don't see it being talked about much until recently. I guess YouTube started catching up, crypto YouTube started catching up. Miners are not selling much these days. The Glassnode chart shared by CIO of Moskovsky Capital shows that the total transfer Bitcoin volume from miners, 7 daily moving average, has plummeted to a 5-year low level. Thus, crypto miners prefer to hold their Bitcoin, not sell it. So far, previously, as reported by You Today, the crypto quant CEO Ki Young Ju shared data similar to this. He specified that miner selling activity has been in decline since around March this year. So these guys are saying, you know what, there was a lot going on. They did sell some of their holdings, and yeah, now they're finding more and more. They're migrating outside of China. Things are looking a bit more hopeful. Texas, they're going to Texas, they're going to Kazakhstan, they're building more facilities, and now we're gonna start focusing on more of a renewable green energy as opposed to coal mined power energy, right? So we can use for Bitcoin mining. So that's what's been happening so far. We're seeing that even miners are changing their stance right now. We're seeing less and less outflows. Technicals are looking good. It's an oversold. Everything is looking, it looks like there's some sort of a support at that level. It looks like a bottom, but we need to see how that plays out on that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Big news, and it's very interesting to see that miners aren't selling, because that was one big thing with China, right? Like one of the biggest negative factors with Bitcoin right now is the fact that China's completely clamping down on Bitcoin miners, crypto services, banking support. All of that's being completely shut down. And so again, man, it's one way to look at Bitcoin is it's actually surprising how well we're holding up considering, what is it, half of Bitcoin's mining power just all of a sudden got shut down. Crypto services in China just got shut down all of a sudden. So again, it's surprising considering all the regulation, all the FUD behind Bitcoin, Elon, how well we're holding up. And so also, man, pretty big piece of news here in my end here,
Hmm.
which is apparently Jack Dorsey is teaming up with Cathie Wood to hold a public seminar. I believe it's July 21st, called the B Word, where they're going to be publicly discussing Bitcoin, their future, their plans to adopt Bitcoin, that kind of stuff. And they're bringing on Elon Musk to
Oh,
talk about Bitcoin. So yeah, this is pretty significant because I'm hearing it's going to be something, a little bit of a debate, a little bit of discussion. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Elon opens up and if he actually starts to be a bit more bullish on Bitcoin and starts to really delve into the nuances. Look, Elon Musk is clearly being a troll on Twitter, but I think behind the scenes, he's actually very bullish. I think he's been in crypto for a while. I mean, his company still owns Bitcoin, even though he shit talks it openly. And again, he's very well aware. He's not a dumb person of the effect he has in the market. Every time he tweets at the worst moment possible to drive the price further down. So again, I'm not a big fan of the guy, but I think it's important to mention and talk about because he has been moving the market, and it's going to be very interesting to see if he delves more into a more nuanced position during this discussion, if he solidifies himself as a Bitcoin hater, whatever happens, right? I think whatever clarity we do get of Elon's position in Jack and Elon's futures plans for Bitcoin and crypto, it's going to be very interesting to see.
I think he's pretty clear on what his stance is. Like even recently, I think last week where he put out something saying if Bitcoin, proves itself to be the mining power is based 50%, it's 50% greener than 50% green energy, right? Renewable, or whatever the case might be, clean energy. Then what's it called? Tesla's gonna get back and resume them accepting Bitcoin for whatever, just doing business with including Bitcoin transactions. So I guess it's pretty clear. Now it's good what's happening in China, man. Crackdown, let them leave, go to somewhere where they can actually mine properly without being attached to one country, and it's actually being not so much of a green energy. But one question I had for you. Do we know if Jack Dorsey is more a pro Bitcoin or pro
Oh,
crypto?
dude,
Where is he sitting?
bro. Oh, dude, he's like a Bitcoin maximalist. Yeah, he's
Really?
super into Bitcoin, bro. Yeah. So like again, I wasn't too aware, but I watched the Miami Bitcoin conference. I
Okay.
didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched like all the major speakers and all the major conversations. And
Hmm.
yeah, no, I heard Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, talk about Bitcoin during the Bitcoin Miami conference recently. And yeah, he's very pro Bitcoin, but only Bitcoin. Like he's pretty much a Bitcoin maximalist. Like you got asked about altcoins, and he seemed to show no interest towards altcoins, purely 100%. He said himself, he said he was asked about what do you think about altcoins. He said I'm focused on making Bitcoin the global reserve currency.
Wow.
He's wholly focused on Bitcoin. Yeah, no, Jack Dorsey's a Bitcoin maximalist. He's even talking about making like a version of Twitter where instead of likes, you pay in tips with Bitcoin.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and so look, Jack Dorsey's a controversial person. People might not like him due to Twitter and whatever. Regardless of all that, he is relevant to follow, given that he is a very public figure talking about Bitcoin, and these public figures do move the price. So whatever we think of them personally or not, again, I think it's important to follow what they're doing, what they're discussing, because it does affect price action and it does affect us. So we
100%.
definitely important to keep tracking this. And look, man, I'm going to be watching this myself. If you go to the website thebword.com, you can .org, so you can register for this event and you could watch it. And so I registered and I'm gonna be watching this thing live. It's gonna be very interesting.
No, 100%, man. Even talking about Twitter and those big social media giants, I guess Facebook as well is pro. I guess now at the moment, stable coins. Facebook Diem, a catalyst no one's talking about. Facebook's digital currency project Diem or Dime, whatever you want to call it, is a huge wild card for the Facebook stock. Facebook can leverage this platform to lead Diem's success. 100%, in my opinion, Facebook is successful passing this and being, I guess, more regulation friendly and open with this. because they started it back in 2018 or 2019, and they got shut down pretty quick by the government, and obviously because they were going through all these hearings and all these talks and about privacy and all that, which we're all very, very, very familiar with, and they re kind of I don't want to say rebranded, but they restructured their approach to it. And now they're focused more on the US, specifically on the dollar. Initially, but their first attempt was, Diem is going to be a collection of all the currencies, a basket of currencies, including the dollar, the Chinese yen, the euro, this and this and this and that. And that's what Diem will be as a stable coin. This time they're more focused on the dollar, and I think they might have a shot at it because obviously, they're the biggest, one of the big five giants in the space, tech giants. And I think this time the fact that restructuring their approach, I think they're more aware right now of what they need to do from a regulatory perspective and how to go about it. They're giving it another shot. So Facebook can leverage this platform to lead Diem's success. Billions of users on Facebook. They own WhatsApp. They own Instagram. So the user base that will actually take crypto to the next level is literally in these guys' hands. The corporations and Diem association will allow Diem to be more than tokens used only in Facebook's platform. The potential for Diem is almost endless, and investors should keep a close watch on further improvements. There's a lot going on here, guys, for you to read upon. I'm not gonna go really fully through it. We'll keep all these links in the description. Again, if there's anything, man, if we will, these are the guys with the big customer base, with the young user in the market. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has a what's it called? Everybody has access to Facebook. Everybody has access to Instagram, and that, even them not necessarily even knowing what crypto is gonna bring this to the mainstream. But shine a lot more light on what's happening in crypto, man. So it could be an actual, a big catalyst.
Yeah. No, it could be. And look, man, what way is adoption and use case going? It's going in one direction, which
Right.
is greater use case and greater adoption. Every day we bring you guys a news story. A new country is adopting crypto technology. A new corporation is adopting crypto technology. A new investment fund is moving into the space. And again, eventually those fundamentals are going to catch up with the price action over time. Markets can act irrationally longer than one can remain solvent. Meaning, things. Markets always move in extremes, either extremely oversold, extremely overbought, and we typically exist in those spaces longer than is often logical. And so again, I think right now we're in that extremely oversold territory. We're in extremely fearful territory, and eventually the fundamentals are going to catch up. The open question is whether that's 3 months from now or 3 years from now. No one really knows. I would personally wager it's closer to 3 months, but again, we don't know for sure. But another big news story here I want to mention. This is pretty significant, which is the third richest person in Mexico. So Solanas here is with an investment fortune worth $15.8 billion. The owner of Banco Azteca is saying that he has 10% of his liquid portfolio in Bitcoin and is beginning to provide crypto services through his bank. So this
Oh,
man here has one of the biggest banks in Mexico, and he's talking about starting to provide Bitcoin and crypto services. This is a very, very, very big deal, man.
it is.
Super, super interesting. Yeah. Because look, man, back a few years ago, the idea of banks, corporations, countries adopting Bitcoin was just completely unheard of. It seemed crazy. Like it's really we really got to appreciate how early we're still in the space and how quickly things are moving. Like a few years ago, these kinds of conversations would have seemed insane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It would have been
Yeah.
like, well, what do you mean countries adopting this?
What do you mean? So one of the largest banks in a country, corporations, Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, man.
That's
Like,
true.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah, and that's what it is. Even I don't know if you're good, but even in terms of like all these central banks, right? Just, they kind of paved the way, or what do they say? Like when the big guys come in, it's more, you're more you walking into that space more confidently. One big bank does it. A lot of these smaller banks start to jump in on that trend, and we're seeing a lot of central banks now talking about their own digital currencies, their own
Right.
digital dollar, and Yeah, that in its own, obvious central bank is more concerned with its country's currency, obviously. So that's the first thing they're gonna talk about. But yeah, we're seeing that they're more much, the euro, the dollar, they're much more in favor of it right now. And there's a lot of research papers out there by those central banks actually praising the benefits and the advantages of having a digital currency, not specifically Bitcoin. They're not talking specifically about Bitcoin. They're talking about their own currency. And yeah, man, with that coming in, what else is going to be utilized in the crypto space? Sure, we're going to have your own digital central bank digital currency, but also what other protocols are going to be used? Is Bitcoin going to be leveraged still with all this going on? Is it going to be used as some sort of a store of value? We have, the market is polarized in terms of that, in terms of opinions regarding that. But then again, digital currencies are being right now looked at and investigated, researched, and the central bank is more in favor of it. Specifically, the Bank of International Settlements as well, looking at it and saying this is, it's going to be a faster transaction. We're going to settle money a lot quicker than usual. It's not going to take usually, if you want to send money to, I don't know, whatever, even as a bank, you want to settle international payments, it takes a long time, man, to actually do. And even if as an individual you want to send money to other countries, it's going to go through 4 or 5 banks in the middle, and depending where you're sending the money to, each is going to take its own fees just to kind of process the payment, do currency conversions, all these things. And then by the time it gets to the other person or entity you're sending the money to, it's almost like what, like 3 4 days, and with all the fees that are involved in it. So overall, man, with this thing here, it's solving that. And these big banks actually, and these big corporations do see the profit. Forget about just use case. Obviously the profit is a byproduct of the use case, but then again, that use case is there in the space, and profit can be made for these guys to even cut on losses and make more money overall. So it's happening, man. It's just a matter of time till things actually start to look good, I guess.
Yeah, and man, I think you hit the nail on the head there mentioning use case. Is the more I think about adoption and the more I think about use case, the more and more bullish I get on Ethereum.
Oh yeah.
And the more I think about it, the more I come to realize that Bitcoin was the last cycle's trade, and Ethereum is this cycle's and the next cycle's trade. Because look, man, all the reasons you hear people mention of why Bitcoin's great is all true and valid. Bitcoin is indeed sure store of value. It is finite, low supply, low circulating supply, less and less supply in circulation, demand constantly increasing. It's digital gold. That's what Bitcoin is. It's digital gold. But what is Ethereum? Ethereum is kind of the layer, the mesh that allows everything else to be built on top of it. Ethereum brings utility to blockchain technology. Whatever thing you could come up, whatever use case you can come up with, where that you can apply blockchain technology to, Ethereum allows you to do that. And so a bet on Bitcoin is just a bet that people will want to put their money in a quickly growing asset that's very scarce. Okay, great. But a bet on Ethereum is a bet that blockchain technology will continue to have further use case. And
Definitely.
that's a bet I'm willing to make. And sure, digital gold, it's great. But I rather own the thing that the next global financial system will be built on top of. And
100%.
the project with the best fighting chance of doing so is Ethereum. And yeah, look, Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, all these other projects, sure, they'll have their niches, but it's very clear who the leader in the space is, and it's very clear who's likely to continue being the leader in the space, and that's Ethereum. Ethereum is
100%.
becoming deflationary. Next month, EIP 1559, Ethereum will become harder money than Bitcoin. Ethereum will become scalable within the next 1 or 2 years. We have Arbitrum, we have Matic Polygon, we have XDAI, we have all these second layer scaling solutions, we have sharding, we have all this stuff being introduced to Ethereum this year, next year. But by the next bull cycle, 2024, 2025, Ethereum is going to be scarcer than Bitcoin or harder money than Bitcoin, and it's going to be scalable. Man, digital gold's use case is very clear, but the use case for Ethereum is just blockchain technology will continue to be useful and people will continue to find use case for it and build on it. That's a
100%.
bet I'm willing to make. And so
100%.
given that, Ethereum's use case is potentially better, its market cap is lower, I think the upside with Ethereum over the long term is so much higher than Bitcoin. I think it's a little stupid to hold Bitcoin, to be honest. And I don't mean to just go on this weird rant all of a sudden, but again, man, when we're talking about use case here, right, in adoption, we're seeing a lot of adoption with Bitcoin. But I think next cycle we're going to see the same talk with Ethereum.
Yeah, and I think so. You know what? Since we're talking about Ethereum, let's just maybe even delve more into Ethereum right now and then talk about that. Are you good with that?
Please.
Yeah, so we're above 2000. 2000 and what do we have? $2,000
Ooh,
and
we're
97
pumping.
exactly. We're at 97 cents. I'm looking at the hourly here, just painting a bit of a more of a lower time frame picture. We're seeing here that the last time Ethereum was actually above the this guy over here, right? The 200 DMA was on June 13th. So a week or 10, what do we have here? 28th today. Yeah, so like 15 days ago, we had that. We're above. Now we're reacting to it pretty stronger, in my opinion, right now. Obviously, the 2000 level was where it's at the moment. We saw a lot of that resistance happen. Maybe if we go to the 4 hour just to show you where everything is sitting. Downtrending ever since May 12th. It's been really going down. Right now, we're sitting at what? If we was it 60? Yeah, 51%, 51%, 52% in terms of price action. And this is the 4 hours. So lower time frames, we've been overall getting rejected by this guy over here, the 100 EMA. That's been the most recent rejection. And now we're at it. We jumped above the 55 EMA and we're pushing more and more. But most importantly, even if we're forgetting the EMA in general, we're above the 2K level, and that's what is actually the most, I think, in my opinion, the most important for the most important level for Ethereum at the moment, man. So it's pretty good to see that, specifically after this bloody weekend, I guess. Buyers are trying to push, but looking at the 1 hour here, we are currently above all EMAs. We went above the 200, so we found that resistance here at this is the 100 EMA resistance, come back down again, resistance, rejection. We went above resistance, come back down, and then we had a breakout here. You'll see it here over on this side. And then as soon as we had that breakup, boom, buyers came in, pushed it all the way above the 2K. We're coming back down to retest. Now we're pushing above the 2K. So let's just see what's gonna happen. I do think, in my opinion, we are reacting more confidently to this EMA than this here, since we didn't really, there wasn't a lot of follow through after we pumped above. But yeah, man, it's Monday. Weekend performance was pretty good, and looks like buyers are trying to jump in right now.
Yeah, hold on, man. I'm just buying some Ethereum right now. Just give me a second.
What the heck?
I just bought some more Ethereum just now. So you're right, buyers
There
are
you
coming
go.
in. I just bought some Ethereum right now.
Live, initiate the APIN process.
Yeah, look, I've been dollar cost averaging into Ethereum ever since like around 1,800 bucks.
Mhm.
I've definitely been buying the dip on Ethereum, and dude, I don't love, but I find it so funny how volatile crypto is and how it loves to shake people out, including myself. I've done it. I've been scared out of positions. Look, Ethereum was looking super sketchy for the longest time. We had daily candles closing below the 200 EMA, 200 SMA, stupidly bearish. But we put in a higher low, and now we're breaking above. If we get this daily candle next 8 hours, close above that 200 EMA, above $2,000, super great sign. So maybe me buying in is a little premature. I want to see this daily candle in the next 8 hours fully close above 2000. If we get that, man, if we get a daily candle close above 2000, I think we're probably gonna have a relief rally. I think in
100%.
that case we could definitely see continuation as long as 2000 holds, and that's a big if. We want to see daily candles close above 2000. And again, I'm not fully aping in now. I'm just dollar cost averaging, buying a little bit. And maybe if we fall, great, I'll buy a little bit more next week, the week after. I'm not buying everything all at once, but again, I believe in this thing long term, and I bought Ethereum, spot, not as a trade. We could go down. If we do, I'll just buy more. But as a long-term investment, maybe next 3 months, 6 months, year, who knows, that kind of thing. So, yeah, man, no, it's a great sign. If we're staying above 2000, fantastic sign for Ethereum. That's what we want to see.
100%. And look at this, look at it this way, right? Even if we're looking here maybe at the daily chart for Ethereum, let's take a look maybe at the RSI here and see what it's actually telling us. Because if we go historically to before, let's say 2020, every time the RSI was actually start to hit the 30 level, so the 30, anything below the 30 or closer to the 30 is more on the oversold region. It's telling you that this thing is oversold. Oversold meaning that too much selling is happening. It shouldn't be that way. We need to bounce back above. And then every time we're actually there. We had some sort of a increase in price action. When we have, like a double bottom on the RSI, that's even better. That's leading us to higher time frames. You'll see here one on November 23rd, and again on December 17th. But that's back in 2019 on the daily. It pushes back up. As soon as we get above the 70, expect a downtrend to come after. So right now we're at that level exactly. We're closer. We went down all the way to the 30. What do we have here? What's the lowest we actually went to here? And looking at the RSI, let me see just to get you the exact number. Yeah, we went to 40, 33. I see. Yeah, 33 is the lowest level, so definitely in the oversold region. Double. First time we actually went down below it. If we're looking here at the time frame, at the price action as well, when we actually went down to that region, we had a pump in terms of price action. Now we're even more extended to the bottom, more oversold, and we're having that second touch that we actually bounced above. So in my opinion, this will confirm to the buyers that look, MACD, first time we dumped all the way to the bottom. Now this time we're having a crossover a lot. So the selling pressure was less. The selling momentum was less than here. We're at the same level in terms of the RSI and less selling pressure. We're about to have some sort of bullish crossover on the MACD in terms of Ethereum. Not a lot of volume, so we're not seeing the volume. So that's the confirmation. That's the last bit of information and confirmation to validate that buyers are in the market. We need to see more volume. We're still below the average right now, but we want to see how the market does react to it. Then again, Ethereum's at the 2K, broke above the 2K again. Is it gonna find that support? Or that support, is it gonna hold above? We will see. The indicators tell us that, especially with what's coming right now in July with Ethereum. So yeah, man, it looks good, pretty like so far. Even if this thing
Yeah.
dips, it's actually at a good discounted price, in my opinion.
Bro, like, again, man, like even at 2100, even if we pull back a little bit in the short term, we were at 4500, what, seemingly a couple of weeks, a month or so ago.
Right.
Like nothing. It was tomorrow. We're at 50% off. Ethereum's half off, in my opinion. I think Ethereum has a very good chance of reaching well over $10,000 this year. So whether I'm buying Ethereum at 2100 or 2000, it's not going to make that much of a difference if I expect Ethereum to go over $10,000,
Yeah.
right? Again, I could be wrong, but that is what I do expect with Ethereum. And look, man, again, we gotta start getting daily candles closing above 2000. At that point, we could be more confident. We're seeing those higher time frames, like you just mentioned, the daily starting to look strong again. But coming back to the lower time frames, looking at the 2 hour, looking at the 4 hour, we are a bit overextended, overbought on the 4 hour, on the 2 hour, on the 1 hour. So the shorter time frames are a little bit overextended to the upside. So a little bit of a pullback, maybe coming back down to retest 2000 is possible. Again, we're up against resistance, still haven't broken out. So, a rejection and a pullback maybe to 2000 is sure in the playbooks. If we do, that's fine. As long as we get daily candles close above 2000, that's fine. I'm not worried. And again, we may even pull back further, but I'm a long-term holder of ETH. I expect it to go over $10,000 this year, the cycle. And again, I could be wrong, but if we're going over 10,000, then buying ETH at 2100 or 1900 really isn't going to make that much of a difference if, I expect to sell it over 10,000.
100%.
So that's my approach with Ethereum when it comes to long-term investing. And also, I saw one question in the comments that I think might be worth addressing just for a second here. So I see Bullish Crypto was saying, but Ethereum doesn't have a finite supply, whereas Bitcoin does. Well, Bullish Crypto TV, you're correct. Ethereum does not have a finite supply as of now. Right now, the current supply of Ethereum is about 115 million, and it does not have a hard cap on its supply. That will soon change come EIP 1559, I believe next month or so.
Yeah.
Anyways, this summer, EIP 1559 is being introduced. It stands for Ethereum Improvement Proposal 1559. Several improvements are being brought into that. But one of the biggest ones is a deflationary mechanism where Ethereum will be burnt. A little bit of every transaction of ETH will be taken, and they'll be sent to an address that can't be withdrawn. Therefore, it will be burnt. And so come this summer, Ethereum will become harder money than Bitcoin. So again, man, like in my opinion, Ethereum has far more utility than Bitcoin. Because yes, Bitcoin's great, it's digital gold. Okay. Ethereum is a bet that blockchain technology will continue to have further use case. That's a bet I'm willing to make. Lower market cap, harder money, becoming scalable soon. It's outperformed Bitcoin this year, like to do so moving forward. I think Ethereum is a much better investment, in my opinion, than Bitcoin. But hey, I have different priorities. I place different importance on certain things. Other people might place a greater importance on perceived safetyness or something else or the other. So I don't want to be a complete hater. I do see the arguments as to why Bitcoin is great. I just think that Bitcoin is rather silly investment when compared to Ethereum, when you have the option of Ethereum, in my
100%.
opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, and that's what it is. So, like, even talking about just the optimism in the market and the London hard fork here, we just got Ethereum looking to retake 2K days before London hard fork. Is their big breakout ahead? So, Ether prices reclaimed 2000 on Monday. We just saw that, we just discussed it, increasing expectations that the latest rebound would serve as a cue for further upside moves based on the bullish fundamentals and the technical outlook. So, the world's second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization surged up to 4.96% to 2083 ahead of the London opening bell. Its gains appeared as a part of an overall upside correction that started late Saturday. At the time, bids for ETH/USD has fallen to as low as $1,717. And overall, we're just going to talk quickly, I guess, about the London hard fork. Just a quick update, I guess. More upside tailwinds in the Ethereum market came in the wake of its major protocol upgrade in July. Dubbed as the London hard fork, the upgrade expects to transform Ethereum from an energy-intensive proof-of-work network to a speedier, more eco-friendly proof-of-stake network, which is actually a pretty big thing right now. We see all these stocks talking about, too much energy is being spent to actually in the proof of work network. Now we're moving to proof of stake, and again, the fork will introduce new Ethereum improvement protocols, EIPs, that propose to make its fee structure cheaper and its blockchain more scalable to handle a higher number of transactions. So we're gonna make it faster. We're trying to make it, the fees less. We know for Ethereum, it's been really the biggest. Everything we've been talking about with Ethereum is all about how expensive the fees are and how slow the transactions are. So this is going to make it more scalable and it's going to handle a higher number of transactions. The two issues that have been that acted as a bottleneck for Ethereum's adoption, even as it remains the highest utilized blockchain across the booming stablecoin and decentralized finance sector. So EIP 1559 is going to bring the so-called scarcity feature to the Ethereum ecosystem, which is currently the primary bullish factor in the Bitcoin markets. So that's, I guess, for Crypto Bullish or Bullish Crypto TV. The cryptocurrency actively competes with the United States dollars to become the best hedge against inflation, thanks to its limited supply cap of 21 million. That's obviously for Bitcoin. So anyways, there's going to be a supply squeeze. With everything right now being staked as well in DeFi or in just overall in the Ethereum network, the EIP 1559 will propose to burn a portion of the fee collected from the Ethereum users, thus introducing a mechanism to put active Ethereum tokens off supply for the first time since it launched. Now, the biggest thing as well, it's because it's going to be a proof of stake. We're going to need validators as opposed to miners. So for you to also become a validator on the Ethereum network, the user needs to lock at least 32 ETH in the network's official smart contracts. That will also reduce ETH's active supply as well. Therefore, analysts see it as a sign of another bull run, providing the demand for ETH tokens will increase against the decreasing supply from burning of those tokens with every transaction, and also locking up your ETH to be a validator. So man, I mean, yes, that's what it is. It's something different that we need to take into account, and it's not just price action. It's not just what's happening on the chart. There's much big things that investors look at the moment, with Ethereum also becoming more and more secure. It will at one point become a favorite for a lot of these bigger guys that want to make sure, if I'm putting $1 billion in this, I don't want it to get lost. I don't want it to get hacked, which we know the crypto space, scares people off, specifically with that kind of thing. And I think, man, what is it? Last month, I think it was the Bank of I forgot what it was exactly. I wish I had the article, but they were talking about how they had a 200. I don't know if I don't want to say something stupid, but with
Oh,
Isaac,
how they hacked the pipeline in the
no, not even. No, no, no. They had a bond, a digital bond, the first ever digital bond based on the Ethereum network, and it was like 200 million, I think, for 2 years locked bond on the Ethereum network. So security is big on the Ethereum network, and that's what's gonna drive a lot of that. The bigger guys, the billionaires to start coming in, the big banks to start coming in into that DeFi space. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, man. And look, there's plenty of reasons to be bullish about Ethereum, right? Like right now, we talk about Bitcoin a lot because Bitcoin leads the market. Bitcoin's fully leading things. And I think if Bitcoin could just start to keep its shit together and not completely collapse and just move sideways and just do its thing, And I think Ethereum is just primed to potentially take off here because look, endlessly bullish on Ethereum. EIP of 1559, one of the most bullish catalysts in its history being introduced. We're also seeing people really put their money where their mouth is and become validators of this network. Recently, just 4 days ago, 5% of Ethereum's total supply is pledged to Ethereum 2.0 staking. So this is 5% of the Ethereum supply is being locked up for about a year until Ethereum 2.0 gets fully rolled out. So this right here, 5% of the market is fully willing to hold Ethereum for the next 1 or 2 years, a lock in the smart contract without being able to take it out. So very bullish. It's telling us, the market's willing to, help support Ethereum over the long term. We're also seeing the supply of Ethereum held on exchanges constantly diminish and constantly decrease. In fact, it's holding up vastly better than Bitcoin. If you compare the amount of Bitcoin held on exchanges to the amount of Ethereum held on exchanges, there's a lot more Bitcoin entering exchanges than Ethereum, which is telling me there's a lot more hodlers of ETH, or a lot less weak hands of ETH in comparison to Bitcoin. So, man, look, I think because Bitcoin leads the market, if Bitcoin could just not put in lower lows and just kind of move sideways or recover, do its thing, just not completely collapse, then I think with EIP 1559 coming very soon, I think Ethereum is primed to do very, very well this summer, as long as Bitcoin can keep it together, not put in lower lows. If Bitcoin could just move sideways and not put in lower lows, I think ETH's primed to explode in the coming months.
Definitely, and hopefully we'll start having that, man, decouple happen. Man, we want crypto and the altcoins, and specifically ETH, to start divorcing from Bitcoin's price action. So hopefully that will add to that, and hopefully people will have that. Will start reacting more to it more as a separate entity. With all this. Huge developments that are coming up for Ethereum. So man, it's gonna be till the end of the year here. It's gonna be pretty interesting how everything plays out. So I'm more than excited for what Ethereum's gonna do, to be honest.
Dude, and man, think about it this way. Let's assume for a second the bull run does need to continue. Maybe we, consolidate for 3 months, maybe 6 months, whatever it ends up being. Let's just assume for a moment that the bull run does continue. What did this correction actually mean if the bull run continues? What this correction means is that if the bull run continues, we're going to have so much more sustainable room to the upside, given that we've had a substantial correction. Because, man, look, all these cycle indicators, top and bottom indicators that suggest when the market's hitting two euphoric and therefore cycle tops, almost went off. So when too many people are making too much money too fast, the market gets euphoric, and it's almost always, well, it's literally always correlated with a cycle top whenever too much people are making too much money too fast. And we almost entered this euphoric zone. We almost entered a tipping point where a certain percentage of the market was in profit, euphoric, typically signal cycle tops. And so given that we've had a correction now, whatever recovery we do end up having, whether it's 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 3 years from now, it will be able to do so more sustainably, because again, longer the base, the higher in the space, is people like to say.
Right?
So corrections allow recoveries to continue more sustainably. So it's absolutely necessary. Now, I do see a comment here that I do want to comment on, because I do think it's very interesting. So Benji T is saying, I don't trust the whales. You got to wonder when you see huge spikes and people buying in. If it crashes, that's a huge profit for someone. 100% Benji T. So look, you shouldn't trust the whales. You shouldn't trust us. You should trust your own understanding, and you should trust in why you like these assets in the first place. Folks, our goal in making these live streams is not for you guys to blindly follow whatever we say or whatever we consider. Our hope, you want to turn your phone off there, man?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Our hope in making these videos is that you guys consider the factors we consider, and hopefully you learn, do your own research, come to a greater understanding of what moves the market, and become more confident in your own understanding. You're right. You should not trust the whales. You shouldn't trust these spikes. You should trust in your own understanding, in your own confidence, in your own strategy, in your own plan, in your own understanding of why you like these things in the first place. Look, I'm very confident in my understanding of Ethereum. I think Ethereum, a bet on Ethereum is a bet that blockchain technology will continue to have use case. All right. That's a bet I'm willing to take. And it's because I have that understanding that I'd be willing to hold through another 40, 50% correction. And in fact, if we did do that, I'd buy more. And it's because I have confidence in my own understanding, my own plan, my own strategy, and not in the whales and not in what other people say, that I'll have the confidence to hold through these down periods. And so again, guys, come to your own understanding. Be confident in your own strategy, in your own plan, and your own understanding of why you like these things in the first place. If you're invested in something, you should know why you like it and why you're invested in it in the first place. Not because some random YouTuber shilled it, but because maybe you believe in it. Maybe you like the fundamentals, you like the use case, you think it has a fighting chance of having long-term staying potential and growth and adoption, then great. Then that will make it easier for you to hold through these corrections. And these corrections will instead, as a FOMOing event, look like a massive opportunity. If you loved Ethereum at $4,000, then you should love Ethereum at $2,000. So that's my opinion there.
Yeah.
Are you still there, man? Do you have
Yeah,
anything to
no,
add?
I'm here. No, no, I agree, man. I agree. I think that's pretty logical to say, and yeah, 100%. You should know what you're invested in, and you should know what's going on with it. So, if a price dip happens, you have a plan, you have a strategy, and, you can just don't put all your money at the top, obviously, when the market is overextended. Wealth is made when the market is actually, retracing.
Whoa,
So,
whoa,
uh,
hold on. I'm just trying to understand this. Are you? I just want to make this very clear because I'm just trying to understand this myself.
yeah.
Are you suggesting that you should not FOMO buy pumps when we're extremely overextended?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on. Are you also suggesting that one should buy when we're low and correcting? So it's almost like you're saying you should buy low and then sell high, not the reverse. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I think that's exactly what I'm saying, man.
That's crazy. That's a revolutionary idea.
Very foreign way of
We
thinking.
should
I know.
chase that.
I think
Yeah.
outside. I think outside the box a lot, man. And revolutionary ideas. That's what we're basically sitting at right now.
Very
Revolution,
revolutionary.
100%. So yeah, man. I guess that's pretty much it for Ethereum overall, guys. Make sure you smash that like button, show your support. We have 131 people in the chats here just watching, so appreciate you watching, appreciate you being a part of this. We do this every day around the same time in the morning, and yeah, we just analyze the market, look at the news, and see what is actually interesting and important for you to understand. So, and again, I guess mixed with just a bit of logic. Just a bit of logic and a bit of hopium, I guess, if you want to call it. But yeah, man. So Ethereum, that's pretty much it, I guess. I don't know if you have anything else to add. ETH is up 7 point some % right now. Bitcoin is still at 0.34% in terms of price action. Ethereum dominance just went up 4% as well, actually 5%. And yeah, I guess the
Ethereum
market.
Bitcoin's looking good.
100%. And what else we're looking at here? Let's just see whatever we got actually up on BCH, Solana. We're looking at Kusama's up 19%.
Ooh,
Zilica's up
Kusama.
12%.
I've been buying the dip on Kusama.
Oh yeah, Kusama's, what is that? 200. Holy, that's
Yeah.
crazy. So yeah, guys, if you have any more questions for us, let us know. What else do we have here? Gotta wonder when you see those huge spikes and people buying in. If it crashes, that's a huge profit for somehow. I guess that's the one you just brought up. So yeah, man, definitely.
Yes, and look, I would just to wrap up on Ethereum, we got to get daily candles closing above 2,000. As long as we hold 2,000, Ethereum's good. We get rejected all live long day, that's fine. Ethereum needs the whole 2,000. As long as we hold 2,000, we're good. If we start to lose 2,000 again, I get worried about the short term.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I see some people talking as well about Cardano, so maybe we'll talk about Cardano, man. We're
Yep.
pushing here for the hour and 20 minutes, so let's just start looking at what the people want us to talk about here. So you guys
Also, like and subscribe.
like and subscribe and make sure you do all of that. So what do we got here? Cardano. Cardano's currently sitting at the $1.33 region overall. What do we have right now? It's just literally still, I guess, we're almost halfway through the day, and we still got, not almost halfway, we have like 7 hours and 40 minutes left for the day to end. Cardano's still, 0.3%, 0.30% movement to the bottom. So, not a lot is going on. We're still, hovering around that resistance. Overall, we know that the $1.50 region was the region that everyone was looking at for a while. As soon as we had a breakout above it, went back to retest it and pushed back upwards. So overall, right now, we are below those critical levels. We talked about, let me just show all these indicators, I guess. Maybe I'll just take off all of this right here. So yeah, man. Went below. Looks like we did find that support at the 200 EMA on the daily. Again, we've been downtrending ever since, what do we have here? Midway through May 16th, 15th, 17th. We've been downtrending. Cardano got all the way to the top at the $2.50 region. And right now, we got sandwiched again and found that support at the 200 EMA on the daily, which is, exactly where we typically, every time we create that gap between those EMAs, every time we push up or push down, but this is just us looking at pushing up. We pushed up here to the 16 cent, which let's see here. When we actually got close to it and touched it, yeah, Cardano pushed up almost 100% in terms of price action. Went back down to retest those slower EMAs, the 200 and the 100 EMA, and every time it pushes up like that, creates that distance, goes sideways for a bit until those EMAs start to follow through and start, those data points here, those higher prices start to get more and more into this reading for the EMA. They start pushing upwards, they meet us again, and then we push back above and have some sort of a breakup. So now, right now, we're literally at it. We had a downtrend ever since the mid-May and March, April, May, June. I can't even, man. I can't hold so many times. So whenever I want to see where we're sitting at, what month we're in, with the datas, I always gotta go like January, February, March, April, May, so I know what the next month is. But so right now, May 16th. Ever since that, we're having 43 days of a downtrend, and we found that support at the 200 DMA. So looks pretty good so far for me. Obviously, there's some sort of a resistance right now, more established resistance at this level over here. We need to break above this short-term resistance for us to see. We need to see more buyers jump in. We need to see that volume start to spike up, indicating that there is some sort of a market reversal. Because on the daily, this is a pretty nice reversal candle. It's showing you've been downtrending for 43 days. You're reaching a support level where you typically found that support at. And this candle over here indicates some sort of reversal, which actually did signal to the market the next day that, look, we should be uptrending right now. And that's what Cardano's doing. So is this the candle on June 22nd that actually is going to lead Cardano to the light, to those higher prices again, to the market with everything coming off for Cardano soon here? We'll see. But then again, we are at a support level. We're getting sandwiched again between this guy over here, which we broke below recently, which is the $1.37 region. This is the range I'm looking at so far for the near term, for the near future, to decide whether Cardano is actually going to decide on moving upwards soon, man. So,
Man, I think Cardano is at its most critical inflection point. It's been in, I don't know how long, but in a long time. This is super make it or break it territory for Cardano for the reason I'm about to describe. Because right now, Cardano's sandwiched in between strong, significant support and strong, significant resistance. So $1.30, $1.31. I keep mentioning this is an extremely significant level. Looking at the daily candles, we're constantly getting wicks and candle bodies react off $1.30, $1.31. We're currently above it, holding in that support. Looking at the weekly chart for Cardano, we had 9 weeks of candles and wicks reacting exactly off $1.30, $1.31. Super significant inflection point for Cardano. Here, resistance, here, support. Clearly the inflection point, $1.31 for Cardano. We got to hold that as support. We're currently at $1.33, which is good to see. But we'll also have right above us this white line, the 100 EMA on the daily, which I believe you mentioned there.
yeah.
Extremely significant moving average, because all throughout Cardano's impulse, the 100 daily EMA constantly held as support. And again, I repeat this, I bring this up to say that, look, whenever you're trying to find when an uptrend will end, when an impulse will end, I try and find a moving average that hugs the uptrend the entire length of the movement, that we test as support and hold as support. So here held the support, here held the support, here. It constantly was the bedrock of support. We never had daily candles closing below it until now. We've been, and again, once we start to lose a moving average that we've held all throughout the length of an impulse, it's typically signals the end of the impulse, the end of the uptrend. So the fact that we're getting daily candles closing below the thing that we've held this thing since November 2020 is extremely significant. So right now we're above strong support, $1.31, and we're below strong resistance at $1.38 with this white line, the 100 EMA. I believe whatever way we break out of this zone will be extremely telling for the next price direction. If we break out bullishly, come back down and retest it, then man, I think $1.50 and $2 range is very likely. If we start to lose $1.31, especially if we break down, come back up to retest it and find rejection, then I think we're going to retest the dollar region. And if buyers don't come in at about $1, then I think that's the end for Cardano, because every time since March that we've had dumps, buyers keep coming in at this dollar range. So if we find a rejection off $1.31, we're probably going to retest this region. And if buyers don't come in here again, then the downside potential is substantial. We go to 35 cents, 20 cents, and even further down.
Especially with all the accumulation of the dollar, especially with all the accumulation of the dollar. If it doesn't
Yeah,
hold, then you got a
fear
lot
based.
more people that have, that entered that dollar. So for some sort of swing trade or whatever the case might be, or some sort of investor that's probably going to cut down their losses. So the dollar is definitely, yeah, I agree, man. The dollar is definitely where it's at for Cardano as that
Yep.
main support if this $1.30 level does not hold. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and we have the daily candle close for the daily. Did I mention daily enough?
Hmm.
In 7 hours, 7.5 hours. So in 7.5 hours, we will know whether we close above $1.31. So we gotta hold $1.31 for the next 7.5 hours. If we do, it's a good sign.
100%. Bruna Galtieri is saying, seems like an amen. So, amen to that, man. Oh,
Indeed.
man. Whew. Holy, these live streams go by pretty fast, man. You wouldn't even feel
Yes,
like
sir.
it. So, yeah, man, maybe, I don't know, it's an hour and a half here.
Yeah.
Maybe we start wrapping up if you're good to go. I don't know
Yeah,
if
man.
there's anything else you want to talk about here, but maybe we'll go again live at the end of the day, see what happens. I think today's going to be a bit juicy, to be honest with you. I think today's actually going to
Yeah.
be some sort of a nice price action.
Yeah, again, we could go on for hours, but let's definitely save more for later. So yes, let's start to wrap it up. If you have any final words, if you want to summarize, maybe I'll say a few things in my summary as well.
Yeah, no, for now, I would say keep a close eye out on Bitcoin for sure. Let's see how this develops. The longer we push, the more critical the time is, and the more critical and faster we need buyers to actually jump into the market. So right now we're sitting at the 34,700. We know there's resistance above us, pretty significant resistance. Yes, we are bullish overall, but we can still continue to go down below the 30, which will even turn us even more bullish on it because we're even more oversold. So that's what we are sitting at right now, at least for me. I know it's the same thing for you, but overall, again, this was the scary place. This is where you should have been feeling scared, not greedy, and this is where you need to be feeling greedy, not scared for Bitcoin. These levels, the 34, 35 thousand dollar, is where you need to be looking more into a buying opportunity. And obviously, this is not financial advice. We're not financial advisors. Obviously, we need to protect ourselves legally here. But again, like we described in the beginning of the live stream, the weekly's looking extremely oversold. Looks like it is forming that bottom. This does look like a bottom. Right now, MACD's been slowly ticking up. We'll see how this week ends as well. Volume is still, a bit shaky, but we're seeing accumulation happen at those levels, specifically with those wicks to the bottom. RSI is all the way at the bottom as well here, exactly where that floor was formed before. So let's see how that plays up. So make sure you stay tuned, and make sure you like the live stream, make sure you subscribe, the bell notification icon so you can get notified every time we're live. But yeah, let's see, maybe we'll go live at the end of the day, man, if something
Yeah,
significant
yeah,
happens
we'll
here.
see. And also, again, we've been promising this for a while, but we're going to do a face reveal
Yeah,
very soon here, if not tomorrow. Am I correct here?
tomorrow, sir, tomorrow you're gonna see our ugly ass faces, guys.
100%. You'll have a face that is like not just a voice. Of
There we
course,
go.
yeah. But guys, yeah, no, stick around, like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a face reveal tomorrow. We've been setting up. If you guys, for those who've been following the channel a while, we've been kind of doing some changes to how we do the live streams, and so we've been kind of changing the software we use and a bunch of stuff on our end. So we've been implementing some changes, and we're still working out the kinks. But yes, we will do a face reveal tomorrow. So we have that to look forward to. And for me, man, look, Bitcoin. Bitcoin leads the market. We gotta understand what Bitcoin is doing because all these altcoins that we love, Ethereum, Cardano, VeChain, They didn't dump because they all of a sudden turned to shit. They dumped because Bitcoin dumped. So if we want to understand what's going to happen with the altcoins, we need to understand what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Bitcoin leads the market, and Bitcoin is in a bear trend. Bitcoin is putting in macro lower highs and lower lows. We're constantly breaking down below critical layers of support. Bitcoin is bearish. We are bearish. With that being said, we're seeing those signs of a bottom. We're seeing signs of a bullish trend reversal. We're seeing, the daily RSI, higher highs and higher lows in RSI, paired with lower highs and lower lows in price action. Classic textbook bullish divergence. We're seeing the weekly show strength on the MACD, weighted MACD, stochastic RSI. Higher time frame indicators are extremely oversold, switching bullish. There's reasons to be hopeful. There's reasons to think it's bottom. But at this point, because there's reasons to be bullish and reasons to be bearish, what do we need to look out for to see greater clarity in the market? Confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. If we want that recovery to continue and this bullish divergence we're seeing on the higher time frame indicators to continue, we need to start putting in higher highs. We need to start putting in higher lows. We need to break the bearish price structure. And what it would take to break the bearish price structure is put in a higher high above 40,000, 41,000, get above and start getting daily candles fully closing above these three clusters of moving averages, the 50 daily SMA, the 200 daily exponential moving average, and the 200 daily simple moving average. Once we put in a higher high above 40,000, 41,000, and get daily candles fully closing above these three moving averages I just mentioned, at that point, we would have had enough bullish confirmation to have broken the downtrend, and we can be confident that Bitcoin has a better than not chance to start pumping and go to $100,000 and beyond. But for us to be confident in the bull market continuing, we actually need to see the bullish confirmation happen. We're still up against resistance. We still haven't put it in higher highs. So while we are seeing those signs, we need to see further confirmation. We need to see further evidence. So if we want to be confident in the bull market, if we want to be confident buying the dip, we need to wait out for further confirmation, wait out for the evidence. Again, folks, like and subscribe, because anytime anything significant happens, we're going to be letting you guys know. As well, folks, if you like what we do and you want to support us, become a VIP Discord member. You get access to our Patreon. Link for that is always down in the description below. We're constantly bringing tons of value to our members, talking about what we're buying the dip, when, where, why, and who, our entry prices. I mean, look, again, not financial advice. I've been buying the dip. I got it in Kusama under 200. I got, on Ethereum at around 1800. So, folks, again, if you want to know what we're buying and when, become a VIP Discord member. Not financial advice, of course. But again, if you guys want more access to ourselves, there is that option. Ultimately, I want to thank everyone for watching. As you can tell, I can ramble along. I'm going to end it pretty soon here. So yeah, that's all I want to get off my chest. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll throw it back to you, man.
No, thank you guys. Appreciate you being a part of this. Thank you. Be smart, be safe, stay hydrated. It's scary times here in the crypto space. Get used to the volatility. Get used to having, drowning in information in the crypto space, but you got to filter through the BS at the end of the day. And that's what we try to do here. So we try to bring it to you. We love doing this. Yeah, have a great day. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, do everything.